I want to demonstrate the sim school for California, and I'm tutoring someone right now, but I do want you to see, if you ever use this platform, that it can be beneficial. It is not the same as being in a live classroom, but it can give you ideas on what you can do in a classroom. So let's get started. Now, here are the modules, and we're going to work on grade 1, and we're going to be working on class 4 in this situation. And what we want to do is, you have the overview. It tells you what to do in this module. It's first grade classroom. It tells you the school. It tells you there are 12 students, including students with IEPs. There are English learners, gifted students, and students with a range of talents and challenges. And it's in a Metropolis. Metropolis is focusing this month on bullying, social emotional learning, and school climate. You've been asked to implement a technology integrated lesson plan in which students will create a social story that discusses ways to behave in various situations. The students will focus on this lesson for 20 to 30 minutes each day of the week. In other words, it's a repeat, 5 days a week, which is okay, because we know, based on research, that the more you repeat something, the more likely it goes into their long-term memory. We also know that when students talk to each other, peer-to-peer conversation, and then share what they are learning with other students, it also goes into their long-term memory. So there are reflection questions that you can ask yourself. For example, this question says, what are details in a student's profile that may indicate that the student may find it challenging to speak, listen, or perform in English? Did you find that there were any particular strategies that were helpful in managing the class? And given that this class is representative of the diversity in many live classrooms, do you think this is as an inclusive and effective lesson plan as it could be, based on student needs as you understand them? And are there ways that you could change this lesson plan that you think would overall improve your ability to manage students? Now, remember, you're managing a simulation. So remember that. There are other resources. So you can click on these resources. There are PDFs. So it gives you social stories, for example. This PDF gives you, here are some social story topics that um, I've covered in my own classroom. So you could even offer these in your classroom. And again, some other PDFs that you can look at. So let's just go right into the Sims lesson for class 4. And again, it repeats what it's going to do, and then it's going to allow you to start teaching. And I'm going to point out some things that I want you to see immediately. At the very top, you do have a profile, teach, talk, progress, and logs. This bar allows you to do many things. Now, notice you have 3 groups of 4. And so what you probably want to do is just click on, first of all, you can look at the profile of the students here. You may want to take some time to look at individual student profiles. But while you're doing that, you might want to give a command. So I'm going to, this one, I like this one. Let's start our day by greeting our fellow students. So you're going to assign it to the entire class. And while you're doing that, in this situation, go and look at the profile. So we know that Felix shows self-confidence, and it gives you information here. I don't see that there is a variety of interaction, outside simulation and social interaction. See more, the learning environment. Then you may want to click on the next student quickly. What I'm trying to look at is a moderate. I have Robert. I'm looking to try to see if it has a 504. So this one is a 504. Let's see. So he has a 504. She does not. Like, there's Kim. Isabella, this Jasmine, you may want to you do want to do this. So 504. So Jasmine has a 504. Savannah has an IEP. Blake, and here we have James. So you know that you have students, like, so this student has the IEP. So Savannah, I believe, Was Savannah with, yes, Savannah has the IEP, Jasmine has a 504, and I think Robert had a 504. So what you want to do is go to click on teach, and then you have classroom management, and you can say, you can ask for student eye contact. Let's ask for student eye contact. I want to go back in here because the other thing that I want you to do is, I think that I like the smile at students. Like, you should smile at them. And now let's just start to teach. So this is the lesson of instruction. And it says, draw a picture of something that you did yesterday at school or outside. So let's assign it. Now remember, Robert and let's see, I believe it was Jasmine and was it Savannah had an IEP. So let me just go back and just kind of look one more time. I want to make sure. So was it Savannah or was it Michael? Michael had the IEP. So now what I want to do is I'm going to teach, and now I want to offer some accommodations. So I'm going to offer some fidgets, like some, so you can give students sensory items. I'm going to do it for the whole class. I really like that. So you see that they're drawing the sensory items they like. They're sitting on the table. But the other thing that I thought, which I like, so even whether it's special or not, kids who have fidgets tend to focus on what they're doing. A phone is not a fidget. A phone is a distraction. Now, that doesn't mean it's not a great way to use technology and tech integrated in the classroom, but that's another lesson. So the other accommodation is that you may want to give frequent breaks. Now I'm going to do a group. So we said that we have this student, and we have, I want to find Michael, and I also wanted to find Jasmine. Okay. And I'm going to assign that they get frequent breaks. So I'm going to keep that as my group. So now I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to teach. I'm going to go to the next one. This is what we're going to do. We're going to assign it to the class, and we're going to allow the students to work on this next. Now you can talk directly to the students as well. You can ask questions. You can say, how are you doing? Now I'm going to go back to the group, because this group I know might need some specific more instruction. Now we also have some English learners. Now I didn't find that, so we can go back while they're doing this. While I ask them how they were doing, I can go and say, who's my English learner? Is it this student? Is it this student? Like, it's telling you here today, it's telling you where they are, if they're done or not, which I do like. I'm trying to find which students have EEL, or English, they're English learners. And I don't see it. So it's, again, telling you how students are doing. You can do, it's this, so again, I don't see it, but I'm sure that there is a location for me to find out what they're doing. So this student, Terrence, is almost done. This student is, okay, so Jasmine is almost finished. Okay. And so now I might want to talk to the students and say, you are working hard. And I can say it to the group. And now I can go back and say, you are doing well. And I'm going to tell this to the whole class now. So this is something that I actually appreciate. So are you sure? I finally understand. Are you sure? So that's the one thing that's nice about the profiles is, so Michael is having trouble. Now remember, he has an IEP. So now I'm going to go and talk directly to Michael. Let's go select Michael and say, I feel you are struggling. He's still smiling. And the other thing is that when I go back to teach, I do want to go back and do some one-on-one instruction now. I'm going to do some one-on-one instruction with Michael. This one-on-one instruction might help Michael. And while they're doing the one-on-one instruction, I can now go back to teach. And I can say, next, please watch this. And let's go see how Michael is doing now that I gave him one. He's getting better, so that's good. And I can go back and now I can go back to you are working hard and tell Michael. Now again, let's go back to the profile. Let's see how they're all doing. Done, almost done. Okay, so look at this. So you start to see. So again, we know that Michael was struggling. So now I can go back to teach and I can do accommodations. So now I'm going to do alternative for Michael. And I'm also going to do some cueing for Michael. And I'm also going to do some use of manipulatives. But I'm going to give it to Michael. And then what I want to do is I want to give this student more time. So one of the things that I found that, I'm going to let James likes to talk, as you can see. Yes, James. How do I do this? And I'm now going to, let's go look at him. He's just talking. He's done. So James is just fine. So now we're going to just say, you're doing well. So let's go back to teach. So let's go back to the instructions. So we showed them, listen to, now at your table, show each other, actually listen to while I describe. So let's do this. And we know that Michael is behind, so you could go back to teach and you can go back to talk and you can enter in, I know you're working hard, you have extra time. Now, I'm not saying that Sims knows what I'm saying, but we're going to try it. And let's just assign that to Michael. And we're going to move on. And we're also going to go back to teach. And this time we're going to do classroom management. And we're going to say, ask for student eye contact. Okay. So now they're going to he put his hand down, which was good. We're going to go back to teach. And now we're going to say, at your table, do this. Now, this is not going to happen in a 10-minute period because these kids are nicely sitting at their table. If you have kids in a classroom, they're children. They're somebody's baby. All their brains work differently. So you're going to have to take a step back and be okay with that. And you're going to, this is in this classroom, I might have a sensory space in the back of the room for all students. I might have a place where I put tape in the back of the room where I say, you know what, you have somebody that likes to fidget and get up, needs to move. By the way, they all want to move because their bones are growing usually faster than their muscles. That's why they are tripping over themselves. So allowing them to move is good. So don't ever think that you have to have, back when we were in school, you must sit, be quiet. I am the person who is the knower of all things. That's not true. It's just not. Okay. So now that they are here, now let's go back to instruction. And once you've created this, well, actually, let's go back. We're going to go back to this. Let's go in order. I'm showing you a picture of showing 5 pictures of challenging situations on the board. I want you to spend the next 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This sim situation is already 15 minutes long. But if you wanted to see what that felt like, to me, you might get up You might be walking around, even though I'm here. I have this fly. You might have a fly in the room. You might go up to one group. You might go up to another group and see how they're doing. So you might, if you were teaching, you might say classroom management. So give praise. Like, that's a good thing. Let's give praise. Let's go back to classroom management. Um, this is you. Move around so you can monitor classroom management. You can direct students to doodle at their desk for 5 minutes. You can direct students to use their tablet for a learning game. You can give students a break to transition before the next activity. So why not? Let's just give them a break. Because you're going to ask them to start talking to each other next. And they may need that break. It's a lot. There's a lot going on right now. And in a perfect world, the kids would do everything that you wanted and they would be right on time. So now, you gave them a quick break, even if it's a whole minute, getting up to do, 10 jumping jacks or a stretch, or have them grab their ears on each side, or have them do the fun, pinch the fingers. That one's not on there. I also like this one. Kids do this where it's the thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger. Even I'm messing up. Thumb, finger, thumb, finger. It took me a month to learn that. So things like that. So once you've had all your pages, let's see, you created all your pages and typed in the words for your story. You may search for images to include them. So I'm going to assign this, but what I want you to see is you can go and allow them to use capture responses on device. Okay, now let's go see how Michael's doing. He's still struggling a little bit. We're going to go back and talk to Michael individually. And let's see. I know you're working hard, and that's okay. Michael may need some other accommodations. You might say, here's accommodation. Listen to the audio instead of reading the text. You might say accommodations. You might provide headphones. Let's see. Yes, Gracie. Let's see how Gracie is doing. See what Gracie wants. Why not? And this time, when you're doing this classroom management, you find that students, now let's give them, let's see, reduce an assignment to complete the problem. So we're going to reduce assignment for Michael. He's got his headphones on. And now I'm going to go let's do a talk and say, you're working hard to the whole class. And now I'm going to ask them classroom management for, I want that, show me asking the students for eye contact. Okay. And you of course, you could, they're still going. And then you can, I really do like the, where's the smile at students? There. And we are finished. Now let's go and look at our data. We're going to look at what Sims offers us in a PDF form. So let's jump in and see what that looks like. So we did go over the reflective questions, the resources, we did the teaching Sims, and now we have the observations. So you go to the observations, select number 4, whichever class you're working on, and then you have graphs, you have charts and reports. So we're going to look at the graph. Look, so academics, depending on the time, increased here, went down a little bit. Then we have overall, so both of these together. Then the emotional part, not so good at the beginning, but then, you added a little bit here, asking, smiling at the kids, telling them they're doing better, things like that. So let's go back. And then we're going to go to the chart. Here are the charts. So you can actually see attention to female students to male students, female to male, gender diverse students. So, gender diverse students could be, in an integration of the way they are feeling based on LGBTQ, attention received by male students, and then attention received by gender diverse students, and then female students in the classroom. Then you can also click on, you can do full screen, you can print it, you can download it as a PDF. You can change it by ethnicity. So you can see that attention received to Black African American students, attention received to white students, Hispanic Latino students, white students in the classroom, Black students in the classroom, and then attention received by Hispanic, Asian students, and multi-race. So, which seems to be pretty equitable here. So those are the things. You also have to remember that some of the students may have a disability, so more attention. So this, and non-English students, attention to non-English students. So pretty good. And then students with IEP. So the students received by IEP, so better. There was one student with an IEP, and then students with a non-IEP. But this is a good chunk for this student, the attention that received. So one IEP student, we know that out of the 12. And let's go back. And then let's look at this report. This report gives you this timeline as well. But what I really like is that if you look at, tells you the description, let me go back. I didn't mean to do that with the mouse. So it gives you description, recommended practice, and needs attention. So this area use information of differing student strength and needs to refer each student, like that's good. It says not applicable, needs attention, select the appropriate strategy, give break before assigning a new task. Could do more of that. These were all really good. And then make effective use of nonverbal communication, response to, and the truth is that you really don't know, but if you're in the classroom, you can use facial expressions, but because I didn't see, again, they didn't have kids running around the room. So to me, they were behaving just fine. So you can download all of these reports. I do recommend that. Thank you so much for watching. Come back to my channel often. This is a good way to learn about being a pre-service teacher. And if you have access to the Sim school in California, play with it. See, at least it'll give you some ideas on what you can do differently in the physical classroom. But remember, there is nothing like being in the physical classroom or even students who are on Zoom, because that's just a simulation. Comment, tell me how you are doing as a pre-service teacher, and like this video. And again, make sure you subscribe.